Imagine this. You hold just a single dollar in your hand. Tiny, right? Most people wouldn't even think twice about such a small amount. But what if I told you that this single dollar could turn into hundreds, thousands, or even millions over time? That's where one of the most powerful forces in finance comes in: compound interest. This concept is so powerful that Albert Einstein once called it the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this magic works. Not just in theory, but in real life, through simple examples and stories of ordinary people like John, Sarah, Michael, and Emily. By the end of this video, you'll understand why compound interest is often called a wealth machine fueled by time. You'll see how small savings can grow into life-changing wealth. And here's the best part. You don't need to be a millionaire to start. All you need is consistency, patience, and time. Let's start with the simplest definition. Compound interest is interest on interest. That means you don't just earn interest on the money you put in, the principal. You also earn interest on the interest your money already made. Let's take an example. John invests $1,000 at a 10% annual interest rate. At the end of the first year, John's money grows to $1,100. In the second year, interest is calculated not just on his original $1,000, but also on the $100 he earned in year one. So by the end of year two, he has $1,210. That little difference may seem small, but over decades, it becomes enormous. Because your money doesn't grow in a straight line, it grows exponentially. Think of it like Emily planting an apple tree. In the first year, she gets a few apples. In the second year, the tree is stronger, has more branches, and produces even more apples. By the third year, the old branches produce fruit too. With every passing year, the harvest multiplies. That's exactly how compound interest works. Money makes money, and that money makes even more money. Here's the real secret: time. Most people think, what difference does saving $100 a month make? But what they fail to see is how that $100, left to compound for 20, 30, or 40 years, can turn into hundreds of thousands. This is the dividing line between those who build wealth and those who don't. Let's go back to our two friends, Michael and Sarah. Michael starts investing at age 20. He puts away $200 every month for 10 years. Then he stops completely. In total, he invested just $24,000. Sarah, on the other hand, waits until she's 30 to start. She invests the same $200 every month, but she keeps going for 30 years. In total, she invests $72,000. Now let me ask you, by age 60, who do you think has more money? Most people would guess Sarah, because she invested more money over a longer period. But here's the twist: Michael actually ends up with more. Why? Because he started earlier, giving compound interest more time to work its magic. The lesson is clear: starting early is more powerful than investing more money later. This is why compound interest is often called the greatest tool for building wealth. Let's run some numbers. Start with $1,000. Earn 10% annual interest. After 10 years, you'll have about $2,600. After 20 years, $6,700. After 30 years, $17,400. Notice something? The growth accelerates over time. The first 10 years add $1,600. The next 10 years add $4,100. The final 10 years add over $10,000. That's the magic formula. Time plus patience equals wealth. So far, we've laid the foundation. You've seen how compound interest works and why starting early is so critical. But you might still be wondering, is it really that powerful in real life? Can small savings actually turn into big money? In the next part, we'll explore real-life scenarios, walk through dollar-based examples, and even look at how Warren Buffett built most of his fortune through the power of compounding. But before we move on, let me ask you, if you had to choose, would you rather start early with small amounts or start later with larger amounts? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to see what you think. All right, let's take this out of theory and put it into numbers you can actually feel. Imagine Emily, who decides to invest $10,000 at age 25 in an index fund that grows, on average, by 8% per year. She doesn't add another dime, just that initial $10,000. By age 35, she has about $21,600. By age 45, $46,600. By age 55, $100,600. By age 65, almost $217,000. That's over 20 times her original investment, all because she gave time a chance to do the heavy lifting. Now let's compare this to John, who waits until age 45 to invest the same $10,000. By age 65, his money grows to just about $46,600. See the difference? Emily invested the same amount, but gave her money 20 extra years to grow, and that time created nearly 5 times more wealth. This is why Warren Buffett often calls compound interest a snowball rolling down a hill. Buffett started investing when he was just a kid, age 10 to be exact. Today, he's one of the richest men on earth, worth over $100 billion. But here's the fascinating part. More than 90% of his net worth was built after he turned 60. Why? Because the snowball had been rolling for decades. His fortune didn't just grow, it exploded. This is the exact same principle you and I can use, even if we're not billionaires. The earlier you start your snowball, the bigger it gets as it rolls through time. Here's where most people fall into a trap. They think, I'll start later when I'm earning more money. But waiting even 10 years costs you decades of growth. In fact, the biggest advantage you have isn't the size of your paycheck. It's the time you give your money to grow. Let's tell another quick story. David and Emily are both 25 years old. David spends $300 a month on random things, fast food, subscriptions he barely uses, and gadgets he doesn't really need. Emily, instead, invests that $300 every month in a simple index fund, averaging 8% annually. Fast forward to age 65. David has nothing to show for those expenses. Emily has almost $900,000. That's nearly $1 million from just redirecting money that might otherwise have been wasted. Now, which side of the story would you rather be on? There's a simple mental shortcut to understand compounding: the rule of 72. Take the number 72, divide it by your annual interest rate, and that's roughly how many years it takes for your money to double. For example, at 8% interest, money doubles every 9 years. At 10% interest, money doubles every 7.2 years. So if John invests $5,000 at age 25 with a 10% return, here's how it plays out. Age 32, $10,000. Age 39, $20,000. Age 46, $40,000. Age 53, $80,000. Age 60, $160,000. Age 67, $320,000. From just $5,000. That's the power of doubling. So now you've seen real numbers, real stories, and even one of the richest people on earth proving the point. Compound interest is unstoppable when given time. But here's the big question. How can you apply this in your own life? What practical steps can you take today to put compound interest to work for you? That's what we'll cover in the next part. I'll walk you through strategies you can start immediately, even with just a few dollars. All right, now let's move from theory and stories into action. You might be thinking, this sounds amazing, but what do I actually do today to take advantage of compound interest? Here are some practical steps you can apply immediately. Start early, even small. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Even if you only have $50 or $100 a month, put it to work. Be consistent. The magic of compounding doesn't care about big one-time deposits. It cares about regular, repeated contributions. Automate your investments if possible so you never forget. Reinvest your earnings. Don't cash out your gains. Let your dividends, interest, or profits be reinvested. Remember, it's not just your initial money growing. It's also the earnings compounding. Choose long-term vehicles. Historically, stock index funds like the S&P 500 have returned around 7 to 10% annually over the long run. That might not sound flashy, but given decades, it's life-changing. Avoid the temptation to withdraw early. Compounding only works if you give it time. Pulling your money out too soon is like chopping down a tree before it bears fruit. Here's the hard truth. The reason most people never benefit from compound interest is not because they don't understand it. It's because they lack patience. The first 5 to 10 years may feel slow. Growth looks boring in the beginning, but the longer you hold, the more the curve bends upward. That's when the hockey stick effect kicks in. Think of it like fitness. Going to the gym once won't change your body, but showing up consistently, week after week, year after year. That's when the transformation happens. Wealth works the same way. Let's also talk about the common mistakes that destroy the power of compounding. Starting late. Every year you wait makes the mountain steeper to climb. Stopping contributions. Even small, consistent investments add up. Chasing quick wins. Day trading, gambling, or get-rich-quick schemes usually destroy wealth instead of building it. Debt. High-interest debt is compound interest working against you. If you're paying 20% interest on credit cards, compounding is making the bank rich instead of you. To truly grasp compounding, let's play with a famous thought experiment. Would you rather receive $1 million right now, or start with one penny that doubles every day for 30 days? At first, the penny looks laughable. Day 1, 1 cent. Day 10, $5.12. Day 20, $5,243. But by day 30, that single penny has grown into over $5 million. This might be exaggerated compared to realistic investment returns, but it shows the principle perfectly. Exponential growth looks tiny until suddenly it explodes. Let's wrap this idea into one last story. Sarah is 22 years old. She decides to invest $400 every month in an index fund, averaging 8% returns. She keeps this habit consistently until she's 65. By retirement, she has over $1.5 million. Now here's the catch. She only contributed about $200,000 of her own money. The other $1.3 million came purely from compound growth. That's the power of letting your money work harder than you do. Now I want to hear from you. If you had to start compounding today, what would you invest in first? Stocks, real estate, a retirement account, or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your answer might inspire someone else to start their journey too. And remember, compound interest can either make you rich or keep you poor, depending on which side of it you stand. The choice is yours.